everybody, it's Dusti Martin with Platinum Living Realty dropping in to give you your monthly market update for the month of July 22. It is currently July 7th, 2022, and we are seeing some big changes in the market, and I'm going to let you know exactly what it all means. So buckle up, let's go. So our active listings in Scottsdale are up 99% over this time last year. And that sounds crazy, right? Well, we still only got about 1,420 listings. It's not really a lot in the grand scheme of things. But our sold listings, even though our active listings are up over 99%, our sold listings are only down from this time last year at 30.3% over this time last year. So basically, we're down a little bit in our sales, and part of that might just be the fact that interest rates went up a little bit. The Fed is trying to slow the inflation that is going on around the country, and raising interest rates is one way to do that by basically tamping down demand for new homes. But what we're seeing is that the sales aren't down enough to slow it really all that much. So our median sale price per square foot, with all that said, is up over 27% over this time last year in the city of Scottsdale. We're currently sitting at over $425 a square foot, median price per square foot. And so that's a lot of gains for 1 year. It's not as much as we were seeing last year when we had almost zero inventory, but it's about as much as we saw in, say, 2020 or in 2019. And it's still a lot more than normal. Normal appreciation is only 2 to 4%. And so here we are, in the high 20s, creeping on 30s, depending on where you look around the valley. So we're still seeing year over year values continue to outpace that inflation. So then we drop down to our months of supply. Now, this number is scary for a lot of people. Our months of supply is up over 185% over this time last year. The difference is this time last year, we had literally only about 3 weeks of inventory. We had almost nothing in our MLS. This year, we're at 2.25 months of supply. So think like 9 weeks worth of inventory. Here's the thing with that. That is still a red hot seller's market. So if you are thinking that the market is about to crash and we're about to be in a buyer's market any day, you've got a long ways to go. So we're basically kind of where we were in 2019 when I was telling people that, only 2 months of supply was, a really, really great seller's market. Remember, anything under 4 months is a seller's market. And we're just hovering right above the 2-month mark. And once we get into the price point breakdowns, you'll see that some areas still have almost no inventory. So watch to the end to see what that all is doing around Scottsdale. So then we get to our median days on market. With all the increase in the inventory and the active listings and our decrease in sales and our months of supply being up, with all of that going on, our median days on market is only up 8%. And by that, I mean 2 days. It takes 2 days longer to sell your home if you are priced and marketed appropriately. And what I'm seeing overall for most of the valley right now is that homes are still selling for about 100% or a smidge more, like not quite 101%, but like maybe 100.04, 100.4, or 100.6, just right out where you should be. So, and I'm seeing a lot of the homes, the sellers' expectations are way up here, not even on the radar, right? Because that's what you could get away with a summer ago or even 6 months ago, right? You could do that and just expect multiple offers to come in. However, if your comps are here, and mind you, today's buyer can actually usually see that on most home search websites. If your comps are here, and you price way up here, you're going to have to come down. But I'm finding once those homes come down to a reasonable spot and they are marketed appropriately, they are popping off and selling for about 100 or just over 100% of list to sale price ratio. And it's really not taking that much longer to do it. And I'm willing to bet that if more homes were priced appropriately to begin with out of the gate, we probably would have seen our median days on market go down. However, we've got a lot of people out there that are still shooting for the stars. And even though you're not about to get shortchanged out of selling your house right now, regardless of where you list it, either if it's just under, right at, or even just above the comps. But if you're listing 50, 100, over $100,000 over your nearest competitors, your home's going to sit, and it's going to take, 10 days, 15 days for those people who did that to realize they made a mistake and bring it back down. So I have a feeling that our 2 days longer on market really is probably due more to that, because we are seeing some price reductions, but they are not value reductions. They are simply coming back down to reality. And therefore, over this time last year, like I said, our homes are selling for about 27% more than they did last year. So home values are not going down at all. Some prices are coming down, but simply because they were way overpriced to begin with. So with all that said, let's jump over to our months of supply by price point. This is super important whether you're looking to buy or to sell. If you're new here, you need to know when you go out looking for a home, what is your competition going to look like? Is it more in your favor? Is it even or balanced? Or is it something that you're going to have to really fight for? And it varies by price point. So knowing that when you go out home shopping with your agent, you need to know those things, because you don't want to be overpaying for something if you don't need to be. All right, so let's start. In Scottsdale, the $0 to $100,000 price range, we don't have any data. And there's only one home available in that price range, and it didn't sell, so we don't have any data. So there's nothing to calculate there. But when we get to the $100,000 to $200,000 price range, we're only at an even Steven 1 month of supply. Still a really hot seller's market, but it's not as hot as a zero. An actual true 0 months of supply would be as white hot as it can possibly get. Then our $200,000 to $300,000 price range, there's only 3 weeks of inventory. So if you are hunting for homes or condos or co-ops in that price range, you are going to have to compete with multiple offers. Then when we get down to the $300,000 to $500,000 price range in Scottsdale, we are seeing a 1.87 months of supply. You still may see some multiple offer situations, but it's likely to only be a small handful of competitors that you're looking at, maybe 1 or 2 at the high end, 5 or 6, versus the 10 or the 15, the 20, the 30 different offers that we were seeing last year on those really hot price points. Then we get down to the $500,000 to $700,000 price range. We're looking at 1.73, so really only about 7 weeks worth of inventory. Again, still less than 2 months, still a really strong seller's market. You probably won't see much of a difference in the purchasing scenario in the last price range we talked about. Then we get down to the $700,000 to $1 million price point, and we're at 2.24 months of supply. This is the first time I've even seen it over 1 month and probably a couple years now. And so, yeah, it's a big shift, but it's also not bad. We need things to calm down, and it's still a really strong seller's market. You're probably going to see like 1 or 2 really strong, solid offers. And in other words, if your home is priced and marketed appropriately, you should see your home done and under contract in about 60 to 70 days. That includes, your open houses, your marketing, being on the market, and then 30 days to close the loan. So keep that in mind. The $1 to $3 million price range is actually not much different. It's 2.25. So literally just 9 weeks worth of inventory. And to be honest, you're still gonna have to be kind of aggressive, but also be open-minded and really ask questions when you're submitting an offer. How many offers are there? Because competing with one other offer or two other offers is a whole nother ballgame than competing with 10, 15, 30, 50. So keep that in mind. But sellers also know that I would not expect really high pressured bidding wars at this point. I would expect 1, 2, maybe 3 really solid offers, or if it's a really hot property that is the prettiest girl on the block and it is absolutely priced like perfectly and your marketing is on point, that's when I would expect for things to pop off quickly. But like I said, there's a lot of sellers who are still hoping for last year's crazy, 50 offer bidding war, and you're going to have to adjust your expectations. So if you price too high, you're going to be on the market longer and you're going to have to come back down to the market. And by then, buyers might just wonder if there's something wrong with your home when really it was only the price to begin with. So keep that in mind. Then we get down to the $3 million price range and over. This is a big difference from last year. Last year, we only had a 3.5 month of supply in the $3 million and over price range in Scottsdale, which was about, a good solid step inside seller's market territory. This year, we're more in a balanced market for the over $3 million crowd. We're at 5.41 or almost 5.5 months of inventory. 6 months is an absolute even stable market. So in this price range during the summer for the next month or so, until our new numbers come out and we see what happened, don't necessarily expect for buyers to take everything, waive appraisals, waive inspections, and say, yes, sir, may I have another? That's not going to happen in that market for that price range. So keep that in mind. Let's be realistic and be prepared for a buyer to ask you to truly meet you in the middle, split the costs, not carry everything for your home, and make sure that, you are aware that buyers may ask for a lot more on those repair reports when they know it's an even stable market. So keep that in mind. And let's be realistic with ourselves. Let's make sure we take a good stock of our home and the condition it's in and know what a buyer is likely to ask for when they come to us with a purchase agreement. So if you have any questions or if you're wondering what your home might sell for in today's market or what the buying conditions are in the area you are looking to buy, go ahead and give me a call at 480-717-9405 or visit my website at dustimartinrealtor.com.